Hey YouTube, MooseCow reporting with an exciting announcement. My friend Rick and I, who I've been playing these past few games in our lockdown situation here, we will be playing our first game in person since this whole corona thing started. We feel confident enough, we feel quarantined enough, and having been careful enough that we are going to have a first in-person game. It'll be the two of us as well as my buddy Joey. Rick is going to be playing Axis and I will be playing the Allies. But there's a few things we're doing, and it's kind of a special game. We're playtesting some things. So you might have seen my little inclusion of the Dutch. So we will be playing with the Dutch. The rule as it was last time. No changes there. We also will be playing with a Vichy France house rule that I've kind of concocted after looking at what other people have done. So how to best apply Vichy France to Axis and Allies 1940, since it's an element in HBG's global war and all that. So I kind of spent a long time and came up with something to kind of simulate that. So we're gonna play with that, and we're also playing with the Spanish Civil War. This is something that I have been working on for a very long time. This is probably the first expansion that I started coming up with and modifying, first big house rule mod that I came up with. I've revised it again and again and again. We're playtesting this. Rick, my buddy Rick, being the graphic designer that he is, managed to come up with this, and this is a side map. This is what the setup as it is right now. Again, we're playtesting this. It's not going to be for public consumption yet. Okay, so don't ask me about it right now. But we're playtesting it. We're going to see how it goes. But just to give you an idea, this is the current out-of-box setup for the Spanish Civil War. And the idea is that you play it on this side map because there's so many territories in regards to it. A lot of this has been me looking at HBG's rules and how to apply them or selectively apply HBG rules to Axis and Allies, as well as what people have come up with on the Axis and Allies Facebook group that I'm in. This guy John D'Agostino initially came up with a mod for it, and then Misha Kessler came up with an overlay for it, and I kind of like took a little bit of their stuff and took a little bit of HBG's, added a few things of my own in there. But this is something I've come up with. Rick's was very excited to try it out. Rick will be playing the Axis, and Joey and I will be playing the Allies. And Rick and I actually just went ahead and played this. So there's already been a victor. And it's not who I was expecting. So I was the Republicans and he was the Nationalists. And the Republicans won. Pretty overwhelming to a degree. Again, I'm not going to go into every single detail as to how this is played, because again, we're still playtesting it. But this is something we've been working on, and we just spent about an hour playing this little game. Little side game, and it's kind of cool because you can just, if you want to just play a quick Axis and Allies, you can just play the Spanish Civil War. You don't have to do the whole thing. But if you want to get that little experience or teach somebody in a very basic, small, minor version, small scale version, you can do that with this pretty easily. So again, you play the side map, then the idea of the side map determines the overlay that you'll put down. So right now that's the Republican overlay. This is the Nationalist overlay. So basically what happens is, you can see this is 3 territories, and this is 6 mainland territories, plus the Balearic Islands, which actually gets Balearic Islands just gets condensed into one of these side territories, like Catalonia or whatever, depending on who wins and stuff. Balearic Islands only applies for the Spanish Civil War. I didn't want to have another Malta if it could be avoided. Anyway, so, and then there's we also added Spanish Morocco down here, and everything else here currently is just out of box. He shrank Gibraltar a little bit, but that's fine. Fiddlesticks. Anyway, so yeah, so you play this, and then, but playing it with all 6 territories on the main map would get way too crowded. So looking at France and Germany being 3 territories, we decided, okay, after the Civil War, it becomes this for the nationalists, and for the Republicans, it becomes configured differently, and it's a little hard to see. But yeah, northern Spain's the same, but then eastern Spain is a territory, and then you have southern Spain, southern or central's just Spain basically, right there. And it's configured that way, so that way the Axis can't, if the Republicans win the war, the Axis can't just grab Madrid in one easy swing. If things in the Mediterranean are looking good, they have to at least go through one of these other territories before they get to Madrid. And if the nationalists win, then it's kind of the same. Then it's kind of the same thing. The Allies have to go through one of these territories. They can't just go and nab Madrid. So that's why we have 2 different overlays. So you play the Spanish Civil War, and then you the victor gets to put down their overlay, and then you transfer the pieces to the condensed territories accordingly. On top of that, there's also factors like recruitment roles. During the Spanish Civil War, only infantry get recruited or can be bought at the factory. Russia can chip in with units and money and use their starting income. And Germany and Italy can send units over as well, and even though they from their starting setup, by the way. So obviously it didn't work out in their favor. Germany and Italy lost quite a few tanks and infantry. They didn't lose any of their aircraft though that they sent over, because of the Balearic Islands. But yeah, the goal is one Spanish side has to take over all 6 mainland territories, and once they take over the mainland territories, then they win the Spanish Civil War. So they don't have to take. The Republicans didn't have to take Balearic Islands. They didn't have to take Spanish Morocco. So that's how he escaped with his air force. So you can see this is laminated, so there's a bit of a shine to it. A little difference from my actual map, but that's fine. So anyway, Rick is nervous, understandably, but he's down for the challenge. So, not going to see these nationalist units ever again, and I'm going to have to work with what little Republican units I have available. Also, in terms of so basically, Republican Spain is going to be added once they're at war in Europe with Russia. Once Germany's at war with Russia, they're at war with Republican Spain, because Republican Spain is communist, basically. A lot of communist sympathy. So yeah, basically, there's going to be another allied power, which will only have 7 IPCs, but there'll be another allied power that Germany's going to have to deal with. Rick and I have agreed that if Axis know what they're doing, it's an Axis lopsided game. It is an Axis favored game, if the Axis knows what they're doing. Rick knows what he's doing. He's a very good Axis player, often plays Axis, but now he has no fucking clue what to do, what's going to happen. So this weekend, again, this Saturday, we're going to just play all day, and he's going to drive over here, and we'll play all day and see what comes of this. In addition, he'll have the Vichy territory rule we will implement. I'm not going to get into how that works, but that will offset the challenge for him a little bit, and he'll get a little bit more money that way to work with. Vichy France is kind of they're a puppet state, so they don't actually play as a normal nation, but whoever establishes the Vichy government, Italy or Germany, gets the money from Vichy territories that become Vichy. And that's all that I will elaborate on that front right now. I'll do another video for explaining the Vichy rule, depending on how our little playtest goes with that. Anyway, so until later, remember, just roll as many dice as you can, and you're not going to hit them all, but you know, next time, you know, roll the dice better and have fun, you know. MooseCow signing off.